Hi guys, welcome back to our brush pen calligraphy class 2. In today's lesson we are learning lowercase letter formation using the basic strokes we learned earlier. But first quickly subscribe to my channel and stay with me till the end so you don't miss any tips. Now grab your favorite brush pens, your practice sheets and let's get started. There is always something really calming about watching ink flow across a page like this. Every soft stroke feels like I'm quietly saying hello to the page, a little warm welcome before we begin. So let's start our practice slowly and full of ease. Let's do a quick warm up before we start forming letters. Follow along with me. For upstrokes, start at the bottom and gently glide your pen upward. Keep the pressure super light. We want thin and airy brush strokes. Now for downstrokes, start from the top and pull straight down. Add a little pressure for that bold and thick line. For overturn, a stroke that begins with a light upstroke, curves at the top and ends in a heavy downstroke. For underturns, start with a heavy downstroke, curves at the bottom and finishes with a light upstroke. And for the loops, let's do a tall ascender loop, up with a light pressure, curve at the top and down with a thick stroke. For descender loop, down with the pressure, curve below the baseline and come back up lightly. For ovals, always start from the side, not from the center. Go up lightly around and come down with pressure. The compound curve starts with light, goes heavy and ends light again. Imagine like a wave, upstroke, downstroke and upstroke. Before we start writing letters, let's quickly look at guidelines that shape every stroke in calligraphy. Those lines we had in our elementary school notebooks, the ones that helped us keep our letters neat and clean. Calligraphy works the same way, just with a few extra guidelines. Baseline, this is where the most letters sit, like the ground for your brush strokes. Waistline, it's also called X height. This is the height for small letters like A, N, O, C, U and more. The top is like ascender line, tall letters like H, B, I stretch up to this line. And the lower bottom, it's descender line, letters like G, J, Y dip below the base line and reach this line. So these four lines, ascender line, waistline or X height, baseline and descender line, are like invisible guides that keep your strokes straight and your letters uniform. As we start forming letters, these will help you place every part in the right spot. For this demo, I am repeating same basic strokes inside these guidelines just to show you how each stroke fits neatly between the baseline, X height, ascender and descender lines. Now that we have practiced our basic strokes, it's time to turn them into actual letters. For an example, letter A starts with an oval stroke followed by a descending downstroke. For J, begin with a descending stroke that drops below the baseline, then add an entry upstroke. Finish with a small dot above the X height. Letter U made with an underturn stroke followed by a light upstroke and another downstroke. Maintain smooth transitions. Letter N form this using an entry stroke, a downstroke and a compound curve. Keep spacing consistent. And that's our entry stroke. The entry stroke is a thin upward line. It helps us gently begin a letter. And the exit stroke is a light trailing line that leads smoothly into the next stroke or letter. Every letter begins with an entry stroke, thin and smooth. The exit stroke adds that final touch, keeping your writing connected and elegant. Here I am just doing a simple warm-up using a few guideline rows. You will see alternate thin and thick strokes. This helps train your hand to shift pressure smoothly. Alternate thick and thin lines, ovals and some under and over drills. Underturn loops and compound curves, great for practicing rhythm and bounce. And these oval drills and swirls really build control. They help your upstrokes stay light and your downstrokes stay bold. So repeat each shape 2-3 times. The goal is to build muscle memory, not speed. Let every stroke flow naturally. Let your hand learn the movement. Even just doing this exercise for 5 minutes before lettering really helps loosen your hand and improve stroke consistency. Alright, let's write our alphabets. Use the strokes we practiced, thick down, thin up. For practice, I'm using just 2 lined rows here. But you can absolutely use the full 4 lined guide sheet to help you form the letter structure. Hold your brush pen at about 45-degree angle. This helps you glide across the page. as we are practicing small letters, so I'm using 2 line rows. But if you're using 4 line, watch your guidelines. Most letters like A, E and O sit between the base line and the X height. Letters like I and H reach above. Letters like G and J drops below. Take your time, lift your pen after stroke, as calligraphy is about rhythm, not speed. When making letters like O, close the oval neatly. For letters like M and N, keep the humps bouncy and even. Keep one thing in mind: thin up, thick down. Try practicing alphabets like this 2 to 3 times in a row. This helps build muscle memory and gives you better control over the stroke. Also with pressure and spacing. Here we are spending a little time now practicing lowercase letters, first one at a time, to really feel that shape, each shape, and build muscle memory. Now we are continuing them across the row to develop a natural rhythm and flow. Focus on thin upstroke, thick downstroke, underturns, overturns and ovals. You will see how each letter is made from familiar basic strokes like thin upstroke, thick downstroke, underturns, overturns and ovals. Practicing in a flow like this helps connect the strokes smoothly and improves letter spacing too. It's a quite steady work, but this is where your hand learns the movement, and little by little your letters will start to feel more confident and connected. That's great job today. We took those simple strokes and turned them into real flowing letters. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about steady patience and practice. Even about 5 to 10 minutes a day can make such a big difference. If you enjoyed this class, I would truly love if you liked it, left a comment or subscribed so you won't miss the next one. In class 3, I'll be sharing some really helpful tips and practice ideas to help your strokes feel smoother and your letters more confident. Until then, keep practicing and I'll see you in the next class.